Electra bugs out and dumps Will when he refuses to protest Tacky Dylan back to vehicular homelessness. Moment on Bold and the Beautiful. Ivy wastes no time telling Electra what she witnessed. Electra gives Will and claim, and Carter and Daphne make love. The Sandhouse. Will confronts Ivy for running Dylan out of city. She tries to laugh it off, but Electra demands to know if it's true. Will keeps speaking Ivy for traumatizing Dylan. Ivy says Electra needs to hear the story of the night he was alone with Dylan. Will accuses her of being a bully. Dylan no way wanted the family fighting and doesn't want to upset Electra. She explains that Ivy thinks she was being unhappy. Will tells Ivy she had no right to protest her out. Ivy demurs she did everything out of love. She announces that Will and Dylan have been running around behind Electra's back. Will thinks this is all crap and Dylan needs help. They need to give a damn and he's determined to put her on her bases. Ivy talks about their tasteless tacky jest. Like private ballet and swimming. Dylan shakes her head. Electra is floored to hear Dylan was wearing a bikini. Ivy accuses her of making moves on Will. Will says it was all innocent and she's twisting effects. Ivy says he wrapped her in a kerchief. Electra starts chivying out and Ivy lectures Dylan for flirting. She insists she only did this to cover her bastard. Electra agrees with her aunt. This was unhappy. She demands that Will force Dylan to leave. He reminds them this is his home. Electra says it's her or her friend. He protests, but she says they're done and Dylan is disgusting. She insists that this is all on Will and storms out with Ivy following. Dylan feels terrible about this. Will has been such a Napoleon to her. She holds him but he moves down. She thinks about how her Napoleon has saved her. At Forrester, Carter, Daphne, Steffi and Ridge toast to the marriage. Daphne says it has been an awful day thanks to them. It was nice to have Eric and Donna there too. Ridge caricatures his friend and Carter reprises how important he appreciates him for supporting him. Carter says Daphne brings out the stylish in him. Steffi knew they would hit it off. She and her father are left alone. She can't believe he designed that marriage dress so presto. He admits he'd a nanosecond. They compliment themselves on helping to put Daphne and Carter together. They bandy regale. She's thinking of eating with Electra. Ridge is glad they're musketeers. Steffi says she deserves peace and happiness. Carter and Daphne go to his room and she says he makes her feel like a queen. He repeats his promises to be a man she can count on. He's been staying his whole life to tell his woman. He loves her. They kiss. They get undressed and she tells him the ring looks good on him. The ladies need to know he's taken. I'm taken by my beautiful French rose, he groans. They wrap themselves in waists and have coitus. After coitus, she says it's better now that they're wedded. They feel more connected, like all their dreams are coming true. She admits she told Steffi they would have a baby in 9 months. We more get to it, he says. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers reveal that with all the Electra Forrester and Melissa Dylan drama that's heating up, we've to ask, are you Team Electra or Team Dylan? Whose side are you on in this messy B&B plot? This actually feels like a situation where none of the characters involved are making the stylish choices. It's hard to know who to bet for since everyone's timber decent points while contemporaneously making big miscalculations. First, there's Electra, who was awfully quick to side with Ivy Forrester about Dylan's unhappy jest. Rather of truly hearing Dylan and Will Spencer out when it came to their explanations, Electra blew up and gave Will and claim rather. Electra's instability isn't a good look. And she's constantly been annoying about setting all these rules. However, why was she indeed musketeers with her to begin with? Likewise, Electra looks cruel since she's so willing to just throw Dylan out and have her live in her auto again, if Electra couldn't trust Dylan. At the same time, there's some verity to all this talk about Dylan carrying erroneously. Will and Dylan weren't running around behind Electra's back like Ivy suggested, but Ivy was right to point out that Dylan should have gone upstairs after Hayes Finnegan went to sleep. There was no reason for Dylan to put on that ridiculous private ballet show for Will or partake all those close moments with him. Babysitting Hayes together was fine, but Dylan indeed pushed the boundaries of what was respectable in a fellowship with Will. That said, it's not like Will and Dylan have been having some ardent love affair. Dylan has authentically been floundering to get her life back on track and desperately needs some help, so it's easy to see why Will's so reticent to protest her to the check. The stylish result would presumably be for Will to ask Bone Bill Spencer, the same Joe who lately gave Katie Logan Spencer a whole fashion house, if he could pay for Dylan to stay nearly differently. Still, Will supposedly thinks having Dylan stay on his property is the only option, so he'll continue to debate all this with Electra in the coming occurrences. Electra seems poised to stand her ground on their romantic split as long as Dylan's living in Will's guest room. Who are you lodging for in this plot? Are you siding with Electra or rushing to Dylan's defense? The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say effects are only going to get messier from then. So stay tuned for news and heated competitions to come. The new part of The Bold and the Beautiful is really exciting. People in Los Angeles are feeling strongly about things. The Bold and the Beautiful is getting intense because of loyalty, jealousy, and hurt feelings. All these emotions are coming together in a way that will change everything for Electra, Will, and Dylan in The Bold and the Beautiful. It started with a misunderstanding that made everyone upset. Now The Bold and the Beautiful is turning into a romantic mess. Friendships are falling apart. A relationship is barely holding on in The Bold and the Beautiful. The beach house is buzzing with energy when Ivy gets there. Ivy has some news. She really wants to share it with everyone. Ivy goes straight to Electra, tells her what happened the night Dylan and Will were downstairs by themselves after Hayes went to bed. According to Ivy, what Dylan and Will did was not just hanging out. It was really not okay. They were way too close, dancing together like they were alone and doing things that you do not do with a friend. Electra listens to Ivy and her face gets tighter and tighter as she hears more about what Dylan and Will did. The picture of Dylan in a bikini laughing with Will under the moonlight hurts her a lot more than she thought it would. The image of Dylan in a bikini laughing with Will under the moonlight is really painful for her. Seeing Dylan in a bikini laughing with Will under the moonlight is something that bothers her deeply. The image of Dylan in a bikini laughing with Will under the moonlight is very upsetting for her. When Will storms in, he is really mad at Ivy because she interfered and made Dylan leave the city. This makes everything blow up. Will says Ivy is being mean to someone who is already having a time. He tells everyone that Dylan did not want to cause any problems, and definitely did not want to come between him and Electra. But Ivy does not back down. She says she did what she did because she loves her niece Electra. Ivy says all she did was show what was already going on behind Electra's back. Electra looks at Will, wants to know what really happened. She asks him if he and Dylan were alone that night. Did he put a towel on her shoulders? Was he sitting there watching her dance? Will tries to tell her that nothing bad happened, that Dylan was just feeling a little down and trying to feel better about herself. He says that Ivy is making a deal out of nothing, that she is taking things that are not a big deal and making them seem like they are. But the more Will talks about Dylan, the more Electra feels like she is all alone. For Electra, this thing is not about dancing or wearing a bikini. It is about getting respect. It is about being loyal. It is about Electra feeling like her boyfriend cares more about another woman's feelings than her feelings. When Electra tells Will to make Dylan leave, even if that means Electra has to go to living in her car, Will says no. Will reminds Electra that his home belongs to him, and that Dylan needs to feel safe and secure, not thrown. That is when Electra gives Will an ultimatum. Electra wants Will to choose between her and Dylan. It is either her or me. The words are still echoing in the beach house. Feels like a final decision has been made. Will is really upset that Electra is making him choose. Electra is very proud and hurt. She has already made up her mind. Electra thinks Dylan is not a person. She thinks the whole situation is not right. When Will does not make Dylan leave, Electra decides to end the relationship with Will. She walks out of the beach house and Ivy follows her. Electra and Ivy are gone because of what happened with Dylan. The situation with Dylan is the reason Electra ended the relationship. The aftermath is really tough. Dylan feels so guilty it is overwhelming. She did not want to ruin Will's relationship. She remembers when Will helped her and she had no place to go. He was there for her when other people were mean to her. Dylan thinks of Will as her hero, her Napoleon. Now Will is very tired and sad. He slowly moves away from her when she tries to hug him. For the time, even Will is not sure if being loyal to Dylan is worth all the bad things that just happened to him. Dylan loves Will. She knows Will loves her, but now everything is uncertain because of what Dylan did to Will's relationship. Over in another part of town at Forrester Creations, people are having a party. This is very different from what's happening at the beach house. Carter and Daphne are really happy about their wedding. They got married fast. Steffi and Ridge are happy for Carter and Daphne. They think it is great that everything worked out well. Ridge is even making jokes about how he made the wedding dress. For a while it seems like Forrester Creations is the one place in Los Angeles where everything is okay. Carter and Daphne are enjoying their day. Carter says that Daphne is really important to him. She helps him be a person. She makes him stronger and more down to earth. Daphne is beaming with happiness. Gets a little emotional. She tells Carter that he makes her feel loved and safe. They really seem to have something. It is nice to see them like this when everything else is falling apart. They talk about what they want to do. They might even have kids one day. For a change, things are looking up. They have hope of sadness. Carter and Daphne are happy when they are together. Daphne and Carter are thinking about their future. Things are happy for now. Steffi feels like something is not quite right. She talks about meeting Electra, but she does not know that Electra is having a really tough time. Ridge as always. He says that calm times do not last very long in the world of Steffi and the people around her. Ridge thinks that problems always come up in their lives. Steffi is going to meet Electra. She has no idea what is going on with Electra. The person is absolutely right. Back at the beach house, it is really quiet after Electra left. This quiet feels worse than any fight. Will is standing by himself thinking about if being kind has made him lose the woman he loves, Electra. Dylan is thinking a lot, wondering if she will always be the person who does not belong, the problem, the reason for fights about Electra. The story does not have any heroes. Electra's pain makes sense. If you see your boyfriend spending time with another woman, it is going to bother you. Electra's feelings are hurt because she is scared of being betrayed by Dylan. The way Electra is willing to give up on Dylan without caring about his feelings shows that she can be pretty cold. This is when you find out what friendship is about. Friendship is tested when things get tough, like this with Electra and Dylan. Dylan is in a spot. She is being very open and honest. Also making some bad choices. Dylan did not mean to try to seduce Will. Dylan did do some things that were not a good idea. Dylan stayed downstairs with Will. Dylan danced with Will when they were alone. Dylan liked being close to Will because it made Dylan feel safe. Even if Dylan did not mean anything, people might still think something is going on. When it comes to relationships, what people think can be very important. Dylan and her relationships are affected by what people think of Dylan. Will is a mixed-up person. It is good that he wants to protect Dylan. He sees that Dylan needs help and he does not want to leave her alone. He did not think about how his protection of Dylan would hurt Electra. When Will defended Dylan strongly, Electra felt like she was not as important to him as Dylan is. Will did not mean to make Electra feel this way. That is what happened. People who watch The Bold and the Beautiful are wondering about something. The question is easy to understand. People have different opinions. The question is, do you like Electra or do you like Dylan? Some people like Electra and some people like Dylan. The Bold and the Beautiful fans are split into two groups. Team Electra and Team Dylan. Team Electra says that respect in a relationship is very important. If something does not look right, it probably is not right. Dylan should have stayed away, especially since they knew there were problems. Team Dylan says that being kind is more important than what people think. She did not have a home, and she was very vulnerable. She was trying to get her life on track. Will was just trying to help her. He was not trying to start a relationship with Team Electra's friend, Dylan, and the woman. Team Electra still thinks that Dylan should have been more careful because respect in a relationship is very important to Team Electra. When it comes to Will, some people think he should try to find a ground. Why does Will not ask his father, Bill Spencer, for some money to help Dylan get her apartment? Why does Will think that living in the guest room is the way to go? It seems like Will's pride is getting in the way, like his loyalty to Dylan is. Will wants to help Dylan, so maybe Will should ask Bill Spencer for help. The story with Electra and the other people is not done yet. Now Electra is saying she does not want to be with this person anymore, but it is possible that she will feel jealous and that will make her want to be with him again. Dylan might decide to leave on his own so that things are not so tense. And then there is Will. He is stuck in the middle. He has to make a choice between what his heart wants and what he thinks is right, and people are going to keep bothering him about it. Carter and Daphne are married. They are happy for now. We all know that happy times do not last forever on soap operas. Carter and Daphne's marriage will probably have some problems soon. They are already talking about having a baby, and Carter and Daphne's families are very powerful at Forrester. This means Carter and Daphne will have to deal with a lot of issues. What makes this storyline so compelling is that no one is completely right and no one is completely wrong. This storyline is a picture of relationships when they are struggling. The relationships have a lot of problems like boundaries and trust and insecurity and loyalty, and pride all mixed up together. Modern relationships like these are very complicated because boundaries and trust and insecurity and loyalty and pride are all connected to each other. Electra really wants to know for sure what's going on. Electra needs to have certainty about everything. Electra does not like it when things are unclear. Electra demands certainty. Dylan really needs something that's stable in his life. Dylan needs stability so that he can feel safe and secure. The thing that Dylan needs is stability. Will wants to save everyone. He is trying to save everyone. In doing so, the person he cares about the most, the digital marketing person, he may end up losing the one person he never wanted to hurt, that person being the digital marketing person. And as Los Angeles watches the fallout unfold, one thing is certain. The drama at the beach house has only just begun. The Bold and the Beautiful is still dealing with the aftermath of everything that happened. The emotional shockwaves from the Bold and the Beautiful are affecting a lot of people, not those at the beach house. When Electra left the Bold and the Beautiful in such a way, it was not just the end of her relationship. The Bold and the Beautiful will never be the same because of Electra's exit. It started a chain reaction that is changing friendships and alliances between the people in the Spencer and Forrester families, on the Bold and the Beautiful. Electra is walking back and forth outside with Ivy by her side. She is still feeling the rush of adrenaline. For the time since she left, Electra starts to feel unsure of herself. Ivy sees this, tells Electra that she needs to stand up for herself. What Electra saw was a moment between two people, no matter what Will says about it. Ivy reminds Electra that boundaries are important. If Electra gives in now, she will be letting people walk over her again. Electra is still really upset, so she holds on to what Ivy's saying. Ivy is telling Electra that she is right to feel this way. Electra needs to hear this now, so she listens to Ivy and remembers that Electra saw something that was intimate, something that was between Will and someone else. Pride is what keeps her going even when her heart is slowly breaking apart. She has a lot of pride. That is what moves her forward, even when her heart is quietly falling to pieces. Her heart is breaking. Her pride is what keeps her moving. Inside, Will is having a time dealing with what just happened. He did not think Electra would leave him like that. He keeps thinking about the night. Dylan was smiling in a weird way. Electra did a funny dance move to make everyone feel better, and Will put a towel on her shoulders when it got cold. To Will, these were things to do. Now he has to think about how nice things can sometimes look like something more like Electra thought Will was being intimate with her, not just being kind. Will is really struggling with this idea. It is all because of what happened with Electra. Dylan is sitting by herself in the guest room looking at the suitcase she unpacked a while back when she was feeling hopeful. The word tacky keeps echoing in her mind. It hurts. She did not mean to do anything. Dylan was trying to feel like herself, to feel like people see her as more than just the girl who lost everything. She is wondering if she started to like Will because she was so grateful to him, or if it is something that she does not really understand. This thought is making her feel uneasy. Dylan thinks about her gratitude toward Will. How it might have changed into something else, something she is not really sure about. The thought of this is really unsettling to Dylan. She did not go after him on purpose. It is just that she probably depended on him a lot without realizing it. She relied on him much. Maybe this happened because she was not aware of how she needed him. The thing is, she relied on him much. The next day is not any better. News spreads quickly in Los Angeles among families like the Forresters and the Spencers, who know each other very well. At Forrester Creations, Steffi finds out about the breakup before Electra even gets there. Now Steffi is worried of being happy. She gets that Electra is really sensitive about these things. The Forresters and the Spencers do not usually stay in relationships that are not totally clear. Steffi wonders to herself if Will did not realize how easily trust can be broken in relationships like the one between him and Electra, and the relationships that the Forresters and the Spencers have. When Electra finally meets Steffi, Electra starts to doubt herself. Electra says she knows she made the decision. Electra claims she does not want to fight for her boyfriend's attention. Then Steffi asks Electra if Electra really thinks Will cheated on her. Electra does not answer away. That says a lot. This is not about having proof that something happened. It is about what Electra thinks and how Electra feels. Electra is scared. That is what matters. At the Spencer estate, Bill finds out about the drama too. Even though Will has not talked to him, Bill knows his son well and can tell something is wrong. Bill is a person and he looks at the situation in a different way. He thinks that problems can be fixed. And sometimes money can fix them. If Dylan needs a place to live, Bill could get him an apartment in a quiet and simple way. Bill also knows that this is not just about finding a place to live. This is about Will trying to prove something. He wants to show this to Electra and also to himself. What he